The countdown to Extinction, would you say?
Uh,
Well, we were trying to fix the slide. Alright. I just decided I didn't care. We'll leave it like so. Actually, yeah, I
okay,
have my
sure.
phone out, so I could, like, see
What's up, everybody? We are live.
It's better when you're sitting there, like, drinking a glass of whiskey.
How's everybody doing?
All right.
Fucking good, great, grand, whatever.
I was waiting for somebody to say, so far so good, but so what?
Listen, Jihad Joe. We're here to talk about some fucking Megadeth.
Oh God.
That's right.
Hello,
That's right.
guys. It's us again.
Oh, I'm so ready to be done talking about Megadeth.
Actually, I am. I'm like, all jokes aside, and I will say, they've had some really good albums, and overall, like, I'm happy to have gone on this journey with Megadeth. But man, am I fucking done listening to them right now? Like, I'm gonna put them, add them to my playlist and kind of put them on the back burner.
And start listening to some fucking Slayer.
Man.
Oh shit, Gomez, take it off, baby. Yes.
A little hot in here.
Oh no.
Just a little.
You got him a fucking shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you, man. Is that like a particular album shirt or anything?
No, it's actually they did a collab with DC this year. So this actually has it's part of like I think it's called Dark Knight, but it's with just the NIGTH, where it's like the Laughing Batman.
That's good.
So
that's a cool shirt.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. Now I feel like an asshole. I didn't get a shirt.
Look, full transparency. I don't even own a Metallica shirt right now. So I don't have any. I have an Ozzy shirt that I bought in the Czech Republic. That's the only thing I have right now.
You can leave. You can leave.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Don't fuck up my cameras and shit.
Oh, okay.
But Adrian, how was your weekend?
It was there.
All right, well that's
had a big
eventful.
plan Saturday, but they got fucking jumbled around and canceled and all kinds of shit. Totally fucked my weekend up.
Look, bro. To be fair, Dave.
It was my fault.
Fucked up my shit, and then it turned into fucking up Saturday. So then led to Monday. So it's a little bit of mine and Dave's fault.
Yeah, it's all. Hey, you know what? We're here. It's a Monday. I fucking hate Mondays.
And we're ready to burn, baby, burn.
Disco Inferno. Oh wait, no, this is a different song. Sorry.
Oh wait.
Yeah. All right. So I guess do we want to do anything before we jump into the pod, or we want to talk about any like YouTube specific stuff here?
We ventured into trying to do some reaction videos, and if you want to see a reaction video on the new Black Adam trailer or a reaction video on the new Batman trailer, we have those posted to our page.
We also
leave us any comments or reviews of what you think, because it's the first time we're doing them, so we're trying to get a little bit better. We're gonna add that into our channel as a normal thing these days.
Yeah, we also reviewed the new Trivium album, In the Court of the Dragon. Spoiler alert, that album is better than most of these albums that we've listened to for Megadeth. But no, in all seriousness, it's really good. We have the video of that on the channel, and you can, in the description of that video, you can click a link and go watch our live reaction to that whole album. So go ahead and check that out as well if you're interested. This coming weekend, we'll be doing our triple threat Halloween spectacular extravaganza. We're gonna. Okay. It's I just made that up right now. But no, well, I didn't make up what we're doing.
That's the name of it. That's it.
All right, there we go. So
Halloween triple threat extravaganza. Is that what you said?
No, spectacular extravaganza. There you go.
Triple threat spectacular extravaganza. All right.
And so it's ultimately it's the three movies, right? So it's the original Halloween. It's Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the Dream Warriors.
Warriors.
And Freddy 6,
Oh my god!
Sorry,
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th,
part 6.
Part 6.
Jason lives.
Jason lives. My bad. I'm sorry. But then we'll be talking about those three movies, but also it's kind of a matchup between the three iconic villains there, between Michael Myers, Freddy, and Jason. So come join us on Saturday for that. Unless it gets canceled or moved, or we start late, or any number of things.
Or whatever.
Yeah. But you'll get the notification that we go live if you are subscribed to the channel. So
then if you're only interested in the Metalhead's Journey stuff, we're going to be moving on to the next band in the Big Four here, where we're going to be doing the first 4 albums from Slayer. We'll be doing that again in about about a month.
Yeah. So I think what we're gonna do, because we kind of got Megadeth fatigue, so we're gonna learn from our mistakes a little bit. Is we're gonna bounce between the first set of albums from Slayer and then the first set of albums from Anthrax, and kind of bounce back and forth between those two bands until we're done with those, and then we'll go ahead and do Metallica, and then wrap that whole Big Four up. And then we'll start on the top 50 metal albums of all time, but that's down the road. So we'll give you plenty of reminders leading up to that. So,
yeah. Plus a lot of TV coming up. The Stupid Time show that you guys are interested in.
It's the Wheel of Time. It's going to be great.
Yeah, the Stupid Wheel of Time show. The Witcher 2.
Well, it's actually just The Witcher Season 2, but you want to confuse it for the video game. That's fine. Do whatever you want.
All right, The Witcher Season 2, and then somewhere way down the line we got Game of Thrones and blah blah blah.
Yeah, Star Trek season review, just all kinds of shit.
Got a lot of content coming your way.
Yeah. All right, I guess let's kick this thing off.
All right,
Josh, hit it. Bless you.
What an idiot. Hello, and welcome to Three Guys and a Mic presents A Metalhead's Journey through the Big Four, Megadeth, albums 11 through 15. I'm your co-host, The Human Dart, along with
David Disaster.
Adrian Aftershock.
Yeah. All right. What?
Yeah.
I gotta put on my metal voice. I don't know. That's not really
what a fucking maroon.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going?
Guys, listen, here's the deal. I'm excited. Okay, I'm excited that we've reached the end of Megadeth. Not because it hasn't been enjoyable, because I'm ready to listen to fucking anything else right now. Like anything. I'll listen to fucking Hanson. I'll listen to the Spice Girls. I'll listen to fucking George Strait. I'll listen to fucking insert terrible rap artist here. Like, just give me something different.
Yeah.
Me and Dave a while back, we did this whole bracket thing about who the worst band of all time is, and the championship round was Hanson versus Simple Plan.
Yeah. And ultimately, what was the deciding factor is because both bands are very terrible, but which band would you rather see live? And I think the argument is that Hanson, when that Mbop song comes on, when they inevitably close the show with it,
bro, that's the fucking jam.
you're going to be jamming the fuck out of it. You're not going to be able to help yourself. You're going to be like, dude,
yeah.
you're going to be all over it. And then Simple Plan, you're just going to be miserable the whole fucking time.
Anyway,
what's the biggest Simple Plan song?
Is it like, I'm a dick? Did they do that song? I'm addicted to you.
Yeah, they have like 3 albums, Josh. You can go jam those, man. That's what.
I can't think of any other songs. I know the name of the band, but anything that I've heard.
Look, if any members of the band of Simple Plan ever listen to this, we're sorry, but your music fucking blows.
Hey, but you know whose music doesn't blow? Surprisingly, is Megadeth.
A decent amount of Megadeth actually doesn't blow at all.
Yeah. Hey, man, look, this has been a long journey. we set out, a little while back, and we decided that one of the bands that we had probably looked over quite a bit over the years was Megadeth, and then it kind of led into just the big four outside of Metallica. For the three of us here, I know Metallica is generally regarded as one of our favorite bands, but we really didn't give a lot of love to Megadeth, and so we decided we'd start this Metalhead's journey, and we would just plow through Megadeth's entire catalog. And up to now, we've gone through and done kind of album by album reviews of their first 10 records. And look, surprisingly, what we found out is we're missing the boat on some great albums out there and some great stuff. There's also some really bad stuff, which we knew, but we were missing the boat on a lot of really good stuff. So today we're here to talk about the last 5 albums in Megadeth's catalog. Albums 11 through 15.
Yep.
So just to give you the name to everything here, we're talking about United Abominations. We're talking about Endgame. We're talking about 13, Super Collider, and we're going to end with Dystopia.
Yeah. And at the end of it, I think we're gonna kind of give our overall thoughts. We can do it now, or you want to do it at the end, but we can give our overview thoughts of just kind of the journey through Megadeth. We're gonna have some kind of our highlight album, right? Of like our best of.
We're gonna make our own greatest hits and our own fucking garbage hits. We're gonna do like what I think Gomez, you did 10 and 10, right?
I did 12.
You got 12? Okay, I think I got 12 on both as well. I cut my greatest hits down. I had a hard time with that, but we'll get to it.
Yeah. So, Josh, do we want to get started? Do we want to jump straight into the album reviews?
Yeah. Yeah, let's just jump into the albums, and then when we get to the end, we'll recap everything here.
Okay, we'll start with United Abominations then.
Yeah, so United Abominations is the next album on the list. It was Megadeth's 11th release. This came out in May of 2007, and it debuted at number 8 on the Billboard charts. All right, let me get my screen right here.
Yeah, no problem.
Number 8 on the Billboard charts. So this album was actually voted the number 1 metal album of 2007 by World. It's generally regarded as being and is seen as a further return to form after the System Has Failed. So the System Has Failed had a good review and had a lot of good publicity as a return to form. So this is seen as a further return to form. The lineup here for this album, you have Glenn Drover on guitar, Sean Drover, his brother, on drums. You have James Lomenzo on bass, and of course you have Dave Mustaine. So United Abominations, Dave, what's your general first thoughts here?
So I would say this, so obviously I really liked The System Has Failed, but I would say in re-listens and everything, my rating hasn't changed for the record, but that record is very different. It sounds like, and it kind of is, a Dave Mustaine solo project. So it's a very different sound, very different feel of an album. United Abominations definitely feels, my first thought was like, oh shit, this is a Megadeth record. Like, I felt like it felt very different than that. Overall, the production is fantastic, much improved over The System Has Failed. And just overall, I think this is a very, very solid record here. Do you want me to go through all the categories? Or you just want me to give you my overall thoughts?
Go ahead and go through the categories.
All right. So, very solid musicianship. I did note that while the guitar solos are serviceable, they're good. I would say, especially in re-listens, the guitar solos here are not overly memorable for me personally. I think they're fine, but they're not overly memorable. I do think the riffs on this record are very good overall. Vocally, I think Dave Mustaine is doing his thing right here. Like it's a solid Dave Mustaine performance pretty much throughout the record. And lowlights, though, for me, are pretty bad. So you got Kazakhstan. I can't even pronounce
American.
I think that song has, to be fair, it has one of the funniest lines of any Megadeth song. Somebody go ahead.
Hey, Jihad Joe, we're coming for you.
Yeah,
we're coming to get you.
I think
we're
it's
going to get you.
I think it's one of those things that I think if I honestly gave myself a lot of time, I
had that in my highlights just for that one single line.
I think one of the things with Megadeth that I've learned throughout this journey is I think in order to truly enjoy them, and maybe I'll get here at some point, but I think you do have to kind of not take them from a lyrical standpoint. You have to not take it quite as serious as some other metal bands. I think Dave Mustaine, he injects a lot of I'm going to use the word fun when it comes to his lyrics, where it's kind of almost cartoonish in its over the topness. But my other low light here is You're Dead. I didn't particularly like that song very much. Now the highlights, this is a very Megadeth type of album setup here. Very front loaded for me. Sleepwalker, Washington is next, Never Walk Alone. I think Washington is next in particular. I think it's one of the best Megadeth songs. Spoiler. I think it's one of the best Megadeth songs that they've ever released.
That song is the main event for the whole album. It's got the best guitar. It's got the best solo on the album, in my opinion, as well.
I'm gonna save my score so that we can have time to explain how that works.
Okay.
So
Gomez, hit it.
Cool. All right, so as all of y'all know, especially Dave, because he's especially ass blasted about how much I hated The System Has Failed. I am, however, very glad you acknowledged that album it just didn't seem like a Megadeth album, and I guess that's my biggest problem with it. It's a weird album to me, so I was a little worried going into this one, but just like you said, right when Sleepwalker kicks off, it's like, well, this is Megadeth. You know what I mean? The production is already crystal clear compared to System. Just immediately you can tell. Who do we know? I even looked up the guitarist on this one because I was like, man, I was just really impressed. And it's Sean Drover. Is that it?
Yeah.
Sean Drover was the drummer. His brother Glenn is the guitar player.
Glenn Drover. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Who got yeeted out of the band right after this album?
Well, so did he have anything to do with The System Has Failed?
Nope.
Or any other albums previously?
Nope. This is his one and only show.
Whoa. Well, okay, right on. Well, just to echo what you said, the solos are serviceable. Nothing really stood out, but it was it served its purpose.
Would you say, this is a note I had for my instrumentation, is I feel like this was a really big step up just in terms of just the guitar work, the riffs, the solos. While it's not necessarily legendary status, it's certainly better, I think, than the previous 5 albums.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In totality.
Yeah, I agree. I think riff wise, I love the riffs in this record. I think it's really solid.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just not impressed with Marty Friedman at all. When the first time I listened to this album, I looked up hey man, who does he have playing guitar on this one? So I guess I had wrote down the drummer's name. Again, production's really good. I'm starting as Dave Mustaine gets older, I'm starting to appreciate or like his singing voice. As the older he gets, especially we're going to get to Dystopia, it's probably my favorite vocal performance of his, but no complaints there. My lowlights, America Stand. It's ridiculous fucking song. I just want nothing to do with it, man. And To Le Monde, the Set You Free, Set Me Free. I was talking to Dave about this earlier, and I actually gave that a highlight on Euthanasia, but I feel like that song it's just randomly put into this album, and this album's going head first. It's a million miles an hour, then it just fucking stops, and this song is just randomly in the middle of it, and then we start going again. I just wasn't feeling it. They're covering their own song. I've never been a Lacuna Coil fan. I mean, not that I hate them or anything. I just don't know enough about them to care.
She's a good singer, though.
Yeah.
But I'd take the original any day of the week. I just feel like this that song being in the album like stops its momentum. So yeah. All right. Highlights.
What about James? Yeah.
What's up?
I was gonna say, what about highlights? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, highlights. Sleepwalker and Washington is Next. Great fucking song.
All right. Yep. Yeah, I feel like this album for me starts a run of albums where I was really excited about these 5 because the middle 5 are supposed to be the worst 5, or like the biggest drudge, right? As you're trying to get through Megadeth, and so I was really excited to start this album. And on my first listen, I pretty much liked it, but in repeat listens, like it's just gotten to be okay for me. This album is just meh for me. Not to rehash a ton of stuff. The production's great. I think the instrumentation, Drover on guitar, was really, really good. I thought that was a step up. Actually, on the vocals, I put a note that's back to more of like the original style Megadeth, which was like kind of a welcome change.
Yep.
For me, some of the jams I had on here, I had a Tu Le Monde with Christina Scabbia. I enjoyed that one. Washington is Next, obviously. America Stan, just because I like the Jihad Joe line. And then Never Walk Alone. That has had some really good riffs and a really catchy chorus. The skippers for me, and I thought these songs were total shit. Gears of War and United.
Oh, man. I actually like the title track. I think it works. And
they're not very good at title tracks, Megadeth.
Not traditionally. And Gears of War, I would say it didn't make my lowlights, but I literally re-listened to this record today because it's been the longest since I've listened to this one. And I think if I wouldn't have re-listened today, I think Gears of War would have made my lowlights, but this song is actually not too bad. Josh, do you want to, before we all give our scores, do you want to explain our patent pending rating system here?
Yeah. So, if you're following along with us here, it's going to be a never-ending journey of trying to watch and rate the entirety of the American Film Institute's top 100 films of all time. And so we figured, we needed a rating system that was proprietary to the show here. And we typically like to refer to things as shit. This thing is shit. So we thought, why not just call it the shitometer? So the name of the game here is the lowest score. You want to get the lowest possible. You want to be a 1. And anything above a 50 is basically something that we would not recommend. So if we give you something sub 50, maybe it has some flaws in it, but we would just generally recommend that you listen to it or watch it. Anything over 50, the higher it gets closer to 100, it's just progressively getting
more
shittier, worse and worse. Yeah.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Things are not able to be 0% shit. Best case scenario is 1% shit.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm glad you bring that up because I feel like we would have to consensus agree on a 0. But I feel like that's like a unicorn where it's like it's never really going to exist. But I'm not going to rule it out. I'm not going to say that there won't be a 0 of something in the future. But generally speaking, no. We would want to just stick with the 1 being the highest.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, if you, and this goes for anybody, and Jason obviously also whenever he's on the show, I mean, if anybody tries to come with a 1, you better be able to explain how you got to a 1, right? So
yeah,
we're not going to just throw that out willy-nilly.
Nope. So since I went last year, I'll give my first.
Okay.
Like I said, for me, this album is just kind of meh. I would recommend that you listen to it. It's got some good guitar work on it. I'm coming in with a 40.
Ooh, all right. And I'm keeping track of all this, so we're good. Adrian, I'll let you go next.
I'm coming in with the 45.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Would recommend, but yeah.
Wow. So I'll go a little deeper here. So I've adjusted my scores quite heavily over the last week and a half, just across the board. I think I've literally adjusted almost every album from Megadeth just as I've listened to them more and more and more. And United Abominations, the stock is rising for me. I've been really enjoying revisiting this record. I originally had this at a 35. I've moved it all the way up to a 29. And that gives us an average score of 38. So a very solid recommendation. And I'll go ahead and save the trouble. I'll at the end, I'll put these in order, and we'll go over it at the end just to save for time.
Cool. All right. Cool. So that's United Abominations. So moving on to their next album here, we have Endgame. This album came out in 2009, and this entered the Billboard charts at number 9. This album actually featured 2 singles, Head Crusher and The Right to Go Insane. So this album had a little bit of a lineup change. You still had Sean Drover on drums, James Lomenzo on bass, and Dave Mustaine, obviously. But this time we had a serious upgrade in guitar to Chris Broderick. So just a little bit here about Head Crusher. So Head Crusher was actually for a Grammy, as we've had some other Megadeth songs nominated. It lost to good old Judas Priest. So yet another loss here for Megadeth when it comes to the Grammys. So can I go first?
Yeah.
So this album for me has the least amount of notes on it. Like, I am totally blah on this album. Like, I just feel like there's just like this run on blah albums here for me. Again, look, the production's really good. The vocals I put down were very aggressive on this album. I think he took a step forward, and maybe they're a little bit more aggressive, maybe a little more kind of like screamy almost. Not really screamy, but more aggressive than just singing. Instrumentation, though, I just my note is wow, Broderick is an animal. The guitar work on this album is really good. A couple of the jams for me, Dialectic Chaos, This Day We Fight, which is inspired by the Aragorn speech from Lord of the Rings, which is kind of cool. Also had a really good solo on that one. Bite the Hand and How the Story Ends, which I think it has the best solo on the album for me. I only had one skipper on this album, so it's kind of weird, but everything else was kind of meh for me. But skipper for me was 44 minutes. I thought that song wasn't very good. For me, I would give this, from a shitometer standpoint, I think this album, while it has some better guitar work, I think overall it's worse than United Abomination. I would give this album a 42.
Okay. Can I go ahead and go?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I guess opposite of what Josh believes, or I think this album is significantly better than its predecessor, especially Chris Broderick. Again, whenever I hear this dude whip out the first guitar solo, I'm like, okay, this is not the same guy from the last album. Who the fuck is this? And I looked up a bunch of stuff on him, and I read an interview that Dave Mustaine gave to Guitar World about this guy, and supposedly he's like super buff and like really fit, and he's like telling him, hey man, if you're gonna join, like, the gym is number 2 and Megadeth is number 1. Anyway, I was a bit disappointed to see that he's just an athletic looking dude. But anyway, he's a fucking animal, and it was I think it was a treat to have him for this album and the next 2. He's probably arguably their most talented or technically talented guitarist.
Yeah, I don't think you can even argue that, dude. I think that's definitive.
So can we bring this up real quick one last time? Because now that we've heard every Megadeth record, all right?
Sure.
And I just want to get this again on record. Can we just all agree that Marty Friedman is one of the most overrated fucking lead guitarists in metal? Like, in popular metal?
Marty who?
Dude, if Rust in Peace didn't exist, I don't think you'd know Marty Friedman's name, excuse me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, coming into this, he was one of the things I was excited about listening to.
Same.
And
total fucking letdown compared to, I mean, whoever this fucking Glenn Drover guy is, I mean, he played him under the fucking table.
Oh, big time.
I mean,
no question.
Just wait till we get to Kiko from Dystopia. I mean, anyway.
Well, I mean, look, Kiko's better than Marty, but he's not a Chris Robert.
I mean, they're different. All right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail you, Adrian. Go ahead. Continue.
So production, just as good as the last. Not necessarily better or worse, in my opinion. Agree with Josh. I like the vocal style. I couldn't tell you a single fucking lyric from a single song because it's not what I'm listening for. But yeah, my lowlights. All right, I only have one, and it's The Right to Go Insane. Just like their title tracks tend to be kind of lackluster. I always feel like there's at least one of their singles that they choose is just like, why did you choose this fucking song?
Yeah.
Of all the songs, you chose this one.
Yeah.
Highlights: In Game, The Hardest Part of Letting Go, and Head Crusher.
Interesting. We didn't have any of the same.
Yeah, no, I thought that too. In Game, I give it a 35% on the shit-o-meter.
All right, so I feel like we can almost we'll go through it, but I feel like with these albums at this point in Megadeth's career, they have figured out production. I think that's almost like down the line, production is never going to be a problem with them ever again. But so yes, production was fantastic on this record. Musicianship.
Hey, since we're talking about it, sorry. Do we think that the production style on The System Has Failed is intentionally bad? I mean, it's not terrible. It's almost like stylized. I don't know, man. Like, even The World Needs a Hero, the production is, I mean, it sounds like a 90s produced album. But
I went back because you you don't like the record so much, and I liked The System Has Failed. I went back and re-listened to it, and I really I'm like, okay, let me just listen to it and really try to hear what you're hearing. And I agree with you. I feel like the guitars, the way that the production is on the guitars, you're almost like, it feels like you're not hearing everything you should be hearing because of how the production, it almost sounds like everything is like coming in as one note. In a sense.
Yeah.
So
it's like a wall of noise, right?
Kind of. I mean, I can still hear, you can still tell what's happening, right? Like you can still hear the riff, but it doesn't sound like it should sound. And what's funny is that
sound as good as it could.
Yeah, what's funny is that record has also been remastered. So that must have been just something that was during the recording of it that they can't undo. But yeah, so to your point, Adrian, I mean, I guess it was on purpose, or it was either on accident and they can't fix it.
Okay. But yeah, agreed. Their production is pretty fucking epic. It's fantastic.
Going like the last 5 albums have been pretty much untouchable. Yeah. So musicianship, I just put seriously improved guitar solos. I think that's a no-brainer. Vocals. So I have this is where this album and the next album fall for me. I think the vocals are good, but I think he loses something in the sing alongness. That's a terrible phrase, but I think you lose some of the hooks, like with this record and 13, and I think lyrically it's infinitely worse. I feel like Dave is best when he has a theme to write his lyrics around. Right, so for me, there's my personal United Abominations, Rust in Peace, and Dystopia, and The System Has Failed. All I think lyrically are his best work because they're all themed around, their own shit. Basically, like military or government or whatever. Seems to be like that's the shit he knows how to write about. But when he's just like writing just random lyrics, like I feel like they're not as good. So I put that vocally, it's kind of a step down for me. Lowlights, I agree with Josh, 44 minutes. That song, I like instinctively want to skip it like almost immediately as soon as they start singing like in a firefight and the pirate. I don't know what the fuck he's saying, but like just stop and I skip him. And then highlights is This Day We Fight, Head Crusher, and Endgame. I think this like the first time that like like the second time that a title track has actually been good.
Single makes it. Yeah.
But this is a step down for me from United Abominations. I gave it a 34. So me and Adrian, we're right there. And that gives us an overall score of a 37.
All right.
So,
cool.
Josh, you want to go for 13? We'll just go in the same order. Make it easy.
Yeah. So 13 here. This came out in November. This album debuted at number 11 on the Billboard charts. This album actually produced 3 singles. Song called Sudden Death, which was also part of a Guitar Hero game release. So it was specific to that game, and then they added it to the album later. Public Enemy number 1, and Whose Life Is It Anyway? One of the interesting things I read about this album was this was like a kind of like a mix of old songs that they kind of had laying around. Riffs that Dave Mustaine had, some old stuff from Marty Friedman. This album was just kind of like a menagerie, if you will, of some old stuff that they had laying around. So the 3 songs that were actually singles from this album, all 3 of these songs were nominated for Grammys in different years. So Sudden Death was nominated for a Grammy in 2011, but it lost to Iron Maiden. Public Enemy number 1 was nominated in 2012, and it lost to the Foo Fighters. And Whose Life Is It Anyway was nominated in 2013, and it lost to Hailstorm. This album brought back the same lineup. So you had Dave Ellefson, Sean Drover, Chris Broderick, and Dave Mustaine. So this album had 3 Grammy nominations from 3 songs. That's crazy to me. It's still crazy that they haven't won a fucking Grammy yet. What happened, Gomez?
I said what's crazy is all 3 of those songs suck. I mean, they don't suck. They're just, to me, they're not.
Josh, I think it's a correction. I think they just recently won a Grammy.
God damn it, Dave! Stop it. Why are you jumping ahead here?
Yeah, well, I mean, you said a statement that was like factually incorrect, so I just wanted to make.
Well, as of this point, when this album was released in 2011, they have not won a Grammy.
Well, that's not what you said.
Oh, you fuck. Anyway, hey, they lost 3 years in a row in the best metal category.
Wait, they lost metal category to Foo Fighters?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a song from the Foo Fighters called White Limo.
I feel like the Academy is kind of stupid, but whatever.
Yeah. Like we said about production, we'll skip it. It was great. I feel like the instrumentation, this was a huge drop off for me from United Abomination and from Endgame, especially for Broderick. I don't feel like he stood out on this album really at all. The vocals continue to be fine. I thought the highlights on this album, listen, let me just jump ahead for a second. Whose Life Is It Anyway? That's on. This song's
you cut
fucking
it.
Great.
Okay.
It's what?
You cut out for when you said.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Whose Life Is It Anyway? That's going to be on my top 12 album or song list later on. This song's fucking great. I love this song. Super catchy. Great chorus, and I think it has a great solo in it. We the People is also a jam, and then I like the song 13 as well. I'll pick a title track here. I thought it had just like a really good feel to the song.
Any lowlights?
Yeah, lowlights for me. Public Enemy, Guns, Drug, Money, New World Order. Excuse me, New World Order, and Millennium of the Blind. So tons of lowlights. I think this is definitely one of the worst albums Megadeth has ever come out with. I hate this album. If this album didn't have Whose Life Is It Anyway, this would probably rival Risk almost for me. But because I love Whose Life Is It Anyway, I'm giving this album a 59.
Jeez. All right, Adrian, go for it.
Cool. Again, I actually really like this album. It feels like a
bro. That's impossible. How can you like this album? It's shit.
I just do. I think it's a sequel to Endgame, a pretty good one. I I actually listened to it way more than Endgame, if I'm being honest with you.
That's unfortunate.
Whose Life Is It Anyway? Is my low light on here? So
bullshit!
And only low light. So it's interesting how we're looking.
You're telling me Public Enemy #1 is better than that song.
It's not on a highlight of mine, but
you're telling me it's better than that? You're fucking stupid. I mean, hate honestly, you.
I mean, bro, it's just a nothing song to me. It didn't make my shit list either, but it's just kind of there. Anyway, that's like the only song on this album I don't like, but I do think
that's like a top 5 song on my top 12.
Damn.
I didn't order my list. I just kind of willy-nilly.
Well, I ordered my list because I'm not a savage. So, yeah. Highlights. We the People, Never Dead, New World Order, Millennium of the Blind, and 13.
That's literally the opposite. Holy shit.
I think 13, I'd probably say 13 is the best song on this album.
All right. What's your score?
13 was good. I enjoyed 13.
Yeah.
What's your score, Adrian?
Oh, and my score for 13 is a 32%.
Okay. I'm in between you guys. So this album got worse over time, but it kind of stabilized as I listened to it like this past week. Yeah, overall, again, not going to try to repeat a bunch of stuff. Solid production, nothing offensive in anything on that front. Musicianship and vocals, I'm just going to say it felt like a overall worse version of Endgame. Like, to me, yeah, it's just, it kind of had that same, like, kind of feeling from, like, Euthanasia to Cryptic Writings. It's like, we've been here already, and it's just not as good for me. So, I mean, it's not offensive. It's totally fine. Low lights, Guns, Drugs, and Money. That's my only low light. But I'll say this: the songs that I didn't pick for my low light and highlight are like, I could just never listen to them again and probably be okay. Like that's how the gap is for me for this record. So the highlights are Sudden Death, Whose Life Is It Anyway, and Public Enemy #1.
All the fucking singles?
Yeah.
What a simp.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, dude, like those are the only songs. Look, the difference between me and you guys that I've noticed is, I really put a higher value in like the sing along ability of the songs.
So then you want Super Collider then? Awesome, perfect.
No.
Oh, hey. Nope. I love Super Collider.
So I gave this record a 40. So that gives us an average of 43.66. I don't know if I said for Endgame, but the Endgame was an average 37.
Gotcha.
What was the average for this one?
This one was 43.66.
Damn. Okay.
One thing I did gloss over here that I forgot to mention, this album did see the return of Dave Ellefson on bass. I glossed over that, but this is the James Lomenzo was on the last 2 albums. Ellefson came back for this album.
Okay.
Yep. All right.
Oh, fuck yes. Here we go. We're moving on to the fucking main event here. All right. The next album here is Super Collider. This album came out in June of 2013, and it debuted at number 6 on the Billboard chart.
Whoa.
Super Collider is the lone single from this album. This is generally regarded as being a pretty below average album, and I think it's probably the lowest rated album of these 5, if you go look at just like Megadeth ratings on different sites, right? This album brought back the same lineup from the last album, and that's the first time they've used the same lineup on back-to-back albums since Cryptic Writings. So you got Sean Drover again, Chris Broderick, Dave Ellefson, and Dave Mustaine. So production, really, really good. Instrumentation, listen, this album it's fun from start to finish. I think it's fucking, the riffs are really, really good. I think the vocals. I think it's like he's trying to do some like hair metal thing. I don't know. I wasn't really sure about it at first, but the more I've listened to it, the more I've really liked it. I think Chris Broderick's a fucking monster on this album. The riffs are really good. Look, I love this fucking album. I don't understand at all why this is getting a bad name here.
I have a
I only
theory.
have one. Yeah. You want to do it right now?
Well, it's something that Adrian and you and I talked about. That I feel like there's a specific reason why this album is getting hate, and I think it's not that it exists; it's when it exists. Okay, so imagine for a second, Josh, had this record come out just after The World Needs a Hero. Same record, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't really do that with the people and the lineup and all that. Like, obviously, that kind of screws everything up. But like, let's just assume for a second that it comes out right after The World Needs a Hero, which I feel like this is a much closer to World Needs a Hero in terms of sound than any of the other records that are around Super Collider.
Yeah, they had a trajectory, right? And it just kind of went a whole different direction with Super Collider.
Yeah, I feel like you put this after World Needs a Hero, or even after The System has failed, and I feel like people do not consider this as like one of the worst albums ever. I feel like because you had that build up from System to United to Endgame to 13, people were like, all right, hit me with that metal. And it's like, burn, baby, burn. It's like, whoa, I'm not ready for that.
But dude, that fucking like that song though, like that's a heavy riff. Look, I know like the first time you showed me Burn, you're like, check out this shit. I'm listening to it, I'm like, this is fucking good. Like I was eating that song up the first time I fucking.
All right, so, but
listen,
I mean,
oh, good.
No, I just overall, I think that's my opinion. Is I feel like that's the large reason for the hate. I think people would just automatically just dismiss it.
I think you're probably right because it seems like they tried to go for like the radio thing one time.
Yeah.
You know, where it was like, hey, we're going to take another stab at making something that's like really catchy and see if we can catch fire here. I only have one skipper on the album, The Blackest Crow. That song is terrible. As far as some jams, dude, I got Super Collider. I love that fucking song. Burn is really good. Off the Edge. That's a real catchy chorus. Got a great solo. Dance in the Rain. But I think the main event to this album, really, it's the fourth song on there, and it's blanking from me right now. Oh, man. Built for War is it's the highlight of highlights. Okay? Look, this is my second favorite Megadeth album of all.
Whoa.
I'm going to come in here with a 20.
Holy fuck.
This album, like I've listened to this album probably nonstop over the last 2 weeks. After I got done listening to the bullshit that's Dystopia, I went back to Super Collider and actually enjoyed my time listening to Megadeth.
All right, let me go ahead and come in with Super Collider. I actually didn't like it the first few times I heard it, but I just kept at it, and you know, I think it's a pretty solid album, man. I like it a lot, and yeah, it's the shit, dude. And David, I have to say this. I know I always say that I don't listen to vocals or lyrics much, and I really don't, but this is easily their most sing-alongable album without
from start to finish.
And you can tell they're like having fun playing this shit, and because they are. And I thought the guitar playing was it's so much better this time around than it was for the last two albums. I mean, just the riffs were fucking solid, and dude, that riff in Dance in the Rain, the outro for it, oh dude,
Yeah.
Man, that was the fucking shit. Anyway,
Bro, so there's a if you guys looked on Spotify, comment
yeah.
about these, and so he's talking about where he got that Dance in the Rain. He got that song title from a fortune cookie.
Whoa! But I tell you what, again,
He wrote it about like go, but he got it from a cookie.
Gotcha. Hey man, you find inspiration anywhere. But dude, the lyrics, right? The lyrics for that are, I mean, we sit there and they say they're shit, but he's like, you better learn to dance in the rain than just sit there and wait for the sun. Like, dude, I mean,
Yeah.
he has his moments when the lyrics are fucking awesome. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get with our where are we? Okay, lowlights. Just like Josh, the Blackest Crow. There's only one instrument I hate more than the fucking banjo, and it's the bagpipe. But yeah, I just they did what they could with it. Hey, I commend them for trying something different, but I hate that song, and I'm gonna I'm gonna make a Spotify playlist with Super Collider and not include that fucking song in it, and I'll have a good album. Anyway. Super Collider. I am giving this a 28.
What was your highlights? Did you say your highlights?
No, I didn't. My bad. Highlights: Dance in the Rain, Beginning of Sorrow, and Don't Turn Your Back.
All right.
And I give it a 28.
Jesus.
Noise.
Okay, look. I'm gonna say this. Let me go through all the normal stuff real quick. So production super solid. At this point, that's par for the course. Musicianship, I put it's unique overall, but it is consistent throughout. Unlike Risk, which is what everybody compares this album to. This is not Risk, okay? This is not Risk. Risk is inconsistent fucking garbage, okay? This is not that. Vocals, I put adventurous, but I'm not sold on all of the vocals, okay? So before I get into lowlights and highlights, look, I shit on this record pretty much right from the get-go. Okay,
Me too.
I listened to it and I feel like I felt probably how most Megadeth fans probably felt when they first heard this. You're coming off that high from 13 and Endgame and UA, and you're like, all right, here we go. And Kingmaker is not bad. Kingmaker is actually a highlight. I like Kingmaker. And then you're hit with Super Collider. And I'll say, I know, Josh, that's a highlight for you. That song does not hit you right away. It's like, I'm not a fan of that song. Then you get hit with Burn. And then, the rest of the album. And it's like, what is happening? And, but I will say this. I've force-fed this album to myself, and I have turned around on this record. Okay,
it grows on you, man.
It does. It's a grower. All right.
It's not a shower; it's a grower.
Yeah, I like this record. I actually do. I like this record more than actually quite a number of Megadeth records. Calm down.
Me too. Oh, Megadeth, my bad.
I actually like it quite a few more than a lot of Megadeth records, if I can say. But so let me start with my lowlights. The Blackest Crow, yes, you guys nailed it. That song fucking sucks, big time. Josh, I'm sorry. Built for War is goddamn terrible. That song sucks. That song, what ruins that song is he's so desperate to fit the song title into the song. He's like, Built for War. Like, he says it so awkwardly in the song that it's cringe, and I have to skip it every time.
He does. Yeah, he says in the commentary, it's kind of like a Pantera style song. So he's kind of like Mouth for War. I think he's just trying to fit that in there.
He should have not. Because I feel like the song is okay, but like that moment ruins it for me. My highlights are Kingmaker. It's Super Collider. I've actually come around on that song. I like that song. And Dance in the Rain. I did not know how I felt about Dance in the Rain at first because he does a lot of like the talk singing or whatever in the beginning.
Big brother.
Yeah, and it's like.
And that riff he's got going on behind it is so good. The feel of the song is really good.
I had to like get over betrayal. Okay, I had to like get over that, right? I had to. Oh yeah, my bad. I had to get over that, but then the song is really, really good. Like, I think it's probably the best song on the record. I'm coming in at a 35. And so, look, if you guys know where I stood on that record before, you'll know that's a really that's. So, we probably just, a lot of Megadeth fans are probably just going to say these guys don't know what they're talking about, but that gives us an average score of 27.66 for
Dude, that's, it's a good album.
I just think people, they're not. I definitely force fed myself this album. Like seriously, I did not like it the first time I listened to it or the second time. And I imagine most people don't give music or albums more than a handful of chances, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, shit. By the end of, I listened to it all fucking week. By halfway through the week and into the end of the week, dude, I was fucking jamming the shit out of it. So
you're singing along like a super collider.
Right.
Let me just say this. I'm not gonna go through everything, but as of right now, it's the second highest Megadeth record on this list by us. Okay. Dystopia.
I think that's fair. All right. Guys, we've did it. We've made it to the last fucking Megadeth album. We have Dystopia. This album was released in 2016. It debuted at number 3 on the Billboard chart. This is the second highest charting Megadeth album, with besides Countdown to Extinction, which topped out at number 2. You had 2 singles off this album, Fatal Illusion and The Threat Is Real. This album, actually the song The Threat Is Real was nominated, the song Dystopia was nominated for a Grammy. Guess what? They fucking won. After 12 nominations, Megadeth finally won.
And
they
Josh,
were nominated against... Yeah.
When they went to accept this award, tell me what song played for them when they were walking up on stage to accept the award for this Grammy.
Oh, I did not do that level of research, apparently, because I don't know.
I'll tell you. Master of Puppets.
No!
Damn.
That's excellent. That is most excellent. So Megadeth beat out Baroness, Gojira, Korn, and Periphery here. Now, I found it odd because there was another album that came out in 2016 that was heavy metal by a little band called Metallica, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, and I thought it was strange as to like where was their nomination? Well, Metallica was not nominated for the best metal performance category. They were nominated for best rock song. For Hardwired to Self-Destruct, the song.
They picked like one of the weakest songs off the record.
Yeah, they lost. So they didn't get that Grammy. But I don't understand how that song ends up and they're not even nominated. Like, look, if you wanted to give Megadeth the career achievement, like, let's make up to them, and you wanted to give them Dystopia over Hardwired, okay. Like, I wouldn't agree with that, because I think Hardwired is a better song than Dystopia, and I think it's a much better album.
You're wrong.
For sure.
You are...
Whatever.
Nope.
Wait, whatever. That's fine, but look, the Hardwired album, as we'll get there later on, Dystopia. So I was surprised by this. So we see we've had a lineup change here pretty significantly. We still have Dave Mustaine and Dave Ellefson, but we've added Chris Adler from Lamb of God on drums, and we added Kiko Lorio on guitar. And Chris Broderick and Sean Drover both left the band because of musical differences, and they went and started their own band called Act of Defiance, which I haven't listened to anything of yet.
Not interested.
I'm a little. Yeah, I'm being honest.
Dystopia. So look, this is one that I knew it won the Grammy. I had heard some of these songs earlier on coming up because I was seeing them live, right? So I needed just so I knew them. I was probably anticipating liking this album the most and really getting to this. And so I find myself probably being the most disappointed over. I think this album is a super disappointment for me. Look, the production's really good. The instrumentation's fine. Kiko Lorio does a good job. I don't think he's definitely not as good as Chris Broderick, but he's fine. Vocals, they're good. Look, they did one thing on this album, is they made me actually an instrumental song. I have Conquer or Die as one of my jams Threat is Real, and Fatal. So the first time I've actually picked like both single releases.
Nice.
Skipper's on this album, Foreign Policy. Fuck. I mean, it is. Look, I'll skip ahead here. It is one of the 12 worst songs. It's shit. And Melt the Ice Away. Fuck, dude. These songs are dog shit. And this is how they close out this fucking album. Look, everything else in between, completely meh. I would just barely borderline recommend this album. It's a 50 for me.
Oof. All right, here we go. So Dystopia, I gotta tell you guys a funny story about this real quick. So Dave, the first album we listened to was United Abominations. So that first week, it's all I jammed. And Dave, he hits me up and's like, dude, you don't go to what's the next one? In-game? Don't go to in-game. You need to jump over to Dystopia, like now, immediately. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And then I look at myself in the mirror and go, no, I'm not doing that. So I just don't do it, right? And I'm going through these albums, and he just keeps kind of casually bringing it up as we kind of just talk throughout the day or throughout the week or whatever you want to call it. And he just will casually bring it up, and I'll say, hey, so, I'm curious to hear, what's old boy from Lamb of God's name?
Chris Adler.
Chris Adler's like, man, I know he's a fucking monster. Like, I'm not the biggest Lamb of God guy at all by any means. I can't even tell you this dude's name, but I know he's kind of one of the more standout musicians. And I'm like, man, I'm super excited to watch to hear this guy go. And I'm like, so what are your thoughts on it? He's like, I'm not telling you shit. I'm not telling you anything because he told me what he thought of The System Has Failed, and he thinks because he told me what he thinks of that is why I hate it, which couldn't be more wrong. I just don't think it's a good album.
I just didn't want to set you up. I didn't want to build it up for you and have you unrealistically expect.
Him not shutting up about it was building it up harder than any fucking.
Sure.
Like it just would never end. And to David's delight, it is absolutely my favorite Megadeth album. I was almost expecting it to suck because how much he likes System Has Failed, but no, this was like, I mean, I'd even say just like System Has Failed, this almost doesn't even seem like a Megadeth. It is Dave Mustaine's best vocal performance, and I agree with you, Josh. Chris Broderick is probably, technically speaking, their best guitarist, but Kiko Lorio, is that his name? Yeah, he is their most interesting guitarist. His guitar solos are fucking each and every one of them are fucking memorable, and it sounds like no guitar solo that ever happened in any Megadeth song. Chris Broderick, for me, his guitar soloing, as impressive as it was, is just cookie cutter, cut and paste shred. Like that he's not telling a story with his guitar solo. He's just stretching his dick out. Whereas Kiko Lorio is telling a story with his guitar solos, and these stories are the fucking shit. Anyway, to end the story with David, when I finally listened to it, I told him, hey, I finally listened to it, bro, but I'm not going to tell you what I think about it until the pod. And I told him that on a text. And this motherfucker calls me. He's like, dude, I need to know. I need to know right now. Like, you need to tell me what you think of it. Because if you tell me during the pod and you don't like it, we're just not going to have a good time. It's going to be bad. I'm going to lose it. It's not going to be cool. So I'm like, man, I can't believe this dude is being. It's like, fine. I fucking loved it, bro. Like, this album was better than Had Any Right to Be. Yeah. So, and I think that 100%. I can't believe I sat on this album. Honestly, I didn't even know Megadeth was still writing fucking music. Much less they came out with this album the same year as Metallica's last album as well, which is abysmal at best. And and yeah, this is I'm gonna go ahead and come in with I have zero lowlights. There is not a single lowlight in this album for me.
There's no fucking way.
You guys can melt your own ices away, and I got a foreign policy y'all could suck on. My highlights are Dystopia, Poisonous Shadows, Bullet to the Brain, The Threat is Real. What What the hell is this? Oh, Post American World, Conquer or Die, Lion and Stag. Should I just name the whole album or?
I mean, sure.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, Dystopia gets a 7 on the shitometer for me.
Wow.
Okay, I don't think I can top that, but I'm gonna just tell what my story. So production, great production overall.
I'm sorry, David, to cut you off. Best production that Megadeth has done throughout their entire career.
Yeah. I put great production overall. The guitars and drums specifically, like just like right in the forefront, sound fantastic. Musicianship, absolute standout guitar work. The drumming performance is notable for almost the first time in their career. I said it. I don't care about Nick Menza. I mean, rest in peace, but whatever.
God damn. He died after he heard the drumming on this album.
Vocally, I literally put probably the best Dave Mustaine vocal performance he's ever had. Lowlights, Foreign Policy, Why Was This Ever Made? Highlights, Dystopia, Post American World, Poisonous Shadows, The Threat Is Real. I mean, I could also just go basically the rest of the album for me. I'm going to say what I think basically Adrian, I kind of said, but I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't think this is just one of Megadeth's best albums. I do. I don't think it's their best. I think it's their second best. But like their best album, I think this is one of the best metal albums that has ever been released. I think this is a fantastic record. I think it's better.
At minimum, I'd say this is the best metal album I've heard since 2011, which would be Unto the Locusts. But yeah.
Now, but I mean, it's fucking fantastic. It gets a 15 from me. That gives it an overall score of 24. I just think overall
I should have scored it worse.
I just think overall, this record is just fantastic from start to finish, with the exception for me, Foreign Policy. I feel like that's the purify of this record. Like, it's just the notable bad. But I will say it's only like 2 minutes long.
I don't hear at all what you guys are saying about this album. Like, this is a fucking snooze fest.
Hey man, that's how I felt about System Has Failed. All right.
No, it's not. You love System Has Failed.
No, that I loved it, and I didn't like. Adrian hated it. So like now
I can't even explain it, man. I just don't like it. Maybe you're that way with this album.
All right.
So yeah,
that's it. Hey guys, I do want to, before we get too far, let's go in order, because I bet you guys have no fucking idea what this order is.
Pump your brakes, homie. I have so many revised scores.
Okay. All right. Josh, did you have any revised scores that you needed to input besides the 5 that we just gave?
Dystopia, I need to give a 75.
I said besides the 5 that we just gave, man. You can't just tank that.
Nah, I'm good.
All right. Adrian, go ahead. I've already done my edits, so.
All right. Killing, 13%.
Okay, go ahead. Just give me the number. You don't need the percent.
All right. Peace Cells, 25.
All right.
So Far, 15.
All right.
Rust, 40.
All right.
Countdown, 65.
65?
God.
Yeah.
Wait. What'd you give Countdown the first time?
65.
Yeah, he's just giving me his scores. Like, not all of them have changed.
Euthanasia, 43.
All right.
Cryptic Writings, which this one's changing big time, 41. I think I gave it a 30.
Yeah.
Risk, 51.
All right.
And Hero, 30.
God damn. Okay.
And last but definitely least, System, 85%.
Holy shit. Yeah, that definitely changed the order a little bit. Actually, it changed a lot. Okay. All right. So in last, by a fucking, like, we all clearly hate this record. It's Risk with an average score of 74.67.
Dude,
Do not listen to that.
Give this?
Josh gave it a 95, and I gave it a 78. All right. Countdown to Extinction is the second worst Megadeth record with a 47.
Wow.
System
okay, that's a good thing right here. So what we're saying here, based on the shitometer, we would recommend at minimum that you would listen to the 14 of the 15 albums from Megadeth.
Yeah, I mean,
look, if you said that to me before we started this, I would have called bullshit on that.
Yeah, so that is a good point, Josh. I'm glad you pointed that out. Yeah, so I mean, from this point forward, we're basically only recommending that you avoid risk. It's too risky. But literally every other album is to some degree, right? Like not all of us agree with everything, but overall, we're saying the rest of these albums you should definitely listen to if you like metal.
Yep.
Countdown to Extinction, 47. System Has Failed, 46. That's a travesty. 13,
Yep.
43.66. The World Needs a Hero. World Needs a Hero, 42.66. Look at World Needs a Hero go.
What did I give that album? World Needs a Hero.
52.
Yeah, that should
give that
be
album
worse.
a listen again, bro. Give that album a listen, dude. Trust me.
Nah, Adrian, I have self-respect. I can't do that.
Cryptic Writings, 39.66. Euthanasia, 38.67.
I agree with that.
United Abominations, 38. Peace Sells. Look, this is good for this. 37.33. I'd say that's our controversial. That's probably the controversial pick.
Whose scores? What were our scores on that one? I was 25.
Josh was 55 and I was 32.
Whoa.
That was a revision from an initial 70 I gave that. So you're welcome.
Yeah, I also revised mine and made it and gave it a more favorable score. Okay. So that record has been on the rise. Hold on.
You got. I think Dave's smoke detector's going off.
I think that might have been his door opening or some shit.
But yeah, I think in general, I'm really that we're gonna have 14 albums here that we're gonna essentially in totality we're gonna recommend. Like I said, I mean, I was not a Megadeth fan before we started this, and I would say I've definitely become way more of a fan since we started this. And found some really good songs. Like I've generally, like really genuinely enjoyed like most of the Super Collider album, and just kind of going back and making like our top 12, top 15 songs. Like I really like those songs. There's a lot of jams in there. So I was very pleasantly surprised by how much I've enjoyed kind of going back and rejamming some of those other songs from.
Sorry about that. Gonna have to. I'll probably edit that out.
Thought we were gonna have to witness. We were about to witness a home invasion, man.
Yeah,
dude. No, that's just a smoke alarm. But there's
okay, that is what
fucking
Josh
smoke.
Like your alarm went on or something. Like
No.
someone opened the door, a little chirp or whatever.
No. Okay, end game. I think is where I was. 37. So far, so good. So what? 35.67.
Wait, what number are we on? Do you know?
That's number 5. So now we're in the top 5. So far, so good. So what? 35.67. Number 4, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. 32.33. The top 3. This is where things get really controversial here. Super Collider. 27.66.
right where it belongs.
Dystopia. 24. And
Garbage.
Rust in Peace. 19.33. Not very controversial. Kind of a typical number 1 pick, but I think it deserves it in my opinion. Obviously, I gave it the record. So I gave it a good score. So
I think it's far and away their best album. I don't think there's to it in my opinion.
Yeah. So overall, as far as just the overall journey, without trying to rehash too much that I've already said, if you'd have told me, I don't know when exactly we started this, but you know, 15 weeks ago or
It
whatever
was
it was.
about 15, 16 weeks ago. I was thinking, like, holy fuck! Like, they're definitely going to be the number one band on my Spotify.
Yeah, for sure.
I know, dude. I am so sad about that. Like, that makes me sick.
But if you'd have told me that I was gonna enjoy, like thoroughly enjoy, probably, I mean, just going off of my own personal scores here, I mean, basically, almost all of these records to some degree or another. I'd say, I mean, in my top 5 Megadeth records are gonna be consistently in my rotation for sure. So I'm pleasantly surprised and honestly kind of mad at myself that I avoided this all these years. Like I could have been hyped for a lot of these albums, and it would have been really fun to listen to them like brand new. But I was a fucking idiot and whatever. So, but I'm happy.
Well, the good news is, there is coming out very soon. There is going to be. So I think the exciting thing about that is we're going to get some time away from death. And I think we'll be ready to go for that. Like, I'm interested in hearing that. Kiko again. It's going to have a different. And then it's going to have James Lomenzo on bass, I believe. But I'm excited to hear that album. Like, going through all this, like, that's genuinely made me excited for Megadeth number 16.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Agreed, Dave. I wish I wasn't as much of a jackass about Megadeth as I've been, and that was kind of the whole point. Like, dude, they're a good band, man. I mean, they're even a great band. They deserve to be in that big four. And yeah, I really I enjoyed it, and it's almost like bittersweet because it's kind of been like I'm like fucking just only listening to Megadeth, but now that it's time to move away from that. It's almost like, well, shit. I don't know if I want to. And I won't have to, but necessarily speaking. But yeah, just like I don't have new Megadeth to listen to anymore. So it's again, it's bittersweet.
Yeah,
and I got my Megadeth shirt to give them some support because some support that they've deserved from me for quite some time. And I can't help but think of like how inspired I could have been as a musician by them had I lit them. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, Josh?
So we wanted to kind of do a quick exercise. As you do when you're making your playlist, we wanted to kind of put together our greatest hits album and our worst hits album. So we each kind of picked 12 songs on each there that we could talk about. Just very quickly. We don't need to expand on any of them. We can just call out what they are. So. Dave, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll give my best of. You want me to just go best of and worst of, or what?
Yeah, do it.
All right.
Knock it out.
Best of Holy Wars, Hangar 18, Tornado of Souls, the rest of Rust. I'm just kidding. Dystopia, Poisonous Shadows, Washington is Next, Die Dead Enough, Fuck Y'all, Kick the Chair, The Scorpion, In My Darkest Hour, Peace Sells, The Conjuring.
Goddamn, I only have 2 of those.
My worst of. Wait, y'all go best of. Let's just go best of first. So,
all right, I'll go ahead and go here. All right, so my hit list, I'm going to go in order. So number 12, Rattlehead. Number 11, Poisonous Shadows. Number 10, Washington is Next. Number 9, Dystopia. Number 11, Into the Lungs of Hell. Number 7, Last Rites, Love to Death. Number 6, Dance in the Rain. Number 5, Disconnect. Number 4, Holy Wars. Number 3, Hangar 18. Number 2, Countdown to Extinction. And number 1, Trust.
no fucking shot.
Man, I don't have mine in order. I wish I did. But me and Gomez, man, we only shared 3 there. So this is actually pretty interesting. All right. I had a Tornado of Soul. I have Lucretia. I have Something That I'm Not. Last Rites. Super Collider, Liar, The Killing Road, Atu Lamond from United Abominations, Washington is Next, Whose Life Is It Anyway, Countdown to Extinction, and Built for War.
God, no fucking way. That song sucks balls.
What do you think these fists are for?
Built for war. That song sucks, dude. Holy shit, that song's terrible. If that was one of our songs, we'd have cut it. That's how I know it's bad.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Adrian,
you would have. If we wrote a song like that, you would have never had kids.
That's fucked up. All right, my worst of, and look, I'm gonna be honest. I cheated a little bit. Okay, I cheated a little bit on this, but here we go. Have Cool Will Travel, Dawn Patrol, High Speed Squirt. I mean Dirt. Built for War, Truth Be Told, Breadline, Foreign Policy, The Blackest Crow, Americistan, These Boots, I Ain't Superstitious, and Anarchy in the UK.
Nah, bro, you can't have the covers.
Yeah, you can, and I did.
I mean, look, they're shit, but I chose real. Those.
They're tracks on their studio albums, man.
Yeah.
And I feel like they weigh down the albums they're on.
Well, I purposely skipped those because there was plenty of other shit to choose.
I mean, that is fair. There was.
All right, so I'm gonna name my shit list, or songs I'd like to set afire. But I will say, not all of them are bad. It's just that I feel like some of them just don't belong in the albums that they're in. My number 10 is Moto Psycho. Now, look, one thing I want to touch on about this song, and the reason it's even on the list is, look, if this was written for some fucking movie or a cartoon, Saturday morning cartoon called Moto Psycho, and Megadeth was commissioned to write this song for them, then this would be cool as fuck. But that's not what this is at all. They straight up just are dead serious. Not only were they dead serious when they put the song on the album, this song
they made it a single.
It's a single from fucking The World Needs a Hero. Like,
Dave, did you not have this song on your lowlights?
I didn't, because I want to say
that's a clear oversight.
Yeah. And what did you mean when you said you cheated?
Oh, because I did not. I could have just said like, oh, all the covers count as one, but I counted them individually.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so number 10, Moto Psycho. Number 9, Wanderlust. Number 8, the Atu Lemon from United Abominations.
That's so stupid.
Number 7, Sweating Bullets. Number 6, Americistan.
Bro, how you gonna have Sweating Bullets? Come on.
Hey, like I said, they're not all bad. They're just, Number 5.
Damn it.
Number
4, Bloodline.
Yeah.
Number 4, Breadline. Number 3, Have Cool Will Travel. Number 2, Captive Honor. And number 1, every single cover on a studio album. All of the scores for the first 3 albums would be higher or better if they didn't have these fucking covers weighing them down. Josh?
Yeah. All right. I have. Where'd Dave go?
I'm pretty sure we're gonna see a home invasion here in a minute.
Yeah. Man, I kind of wanted Dave's reaction here. Oh well.
No, hold on, dude. We gotta get it, dude. We gotta get it.
All right.
Well, I wouldn't be shocked if he could hear us, actually.
Yeah, no, but I want to see his stupid face. Hey, so while everybody's patiently here for the best of the worst list here, like I said, coming up on the next episode that we're going to have here, the Metalhead's Journey, we're going to be tackling the first 4 Slayer albums. And, man, I was looking at those. Average runtime of about 28 minutes for each album.
I'm very. I had my Slayer phase, and I'd say the only 2 albums that I'm very familiar with are, of course, Rain and Blood, and for some god awful reason, God Hates Us All. That's not what I'm looking forward to landing on, but we got to get there. Real quick, since we have time, I'm going to go ahead and name my what do we call these? I guess we decided to call them disposable heroes.
Oh yeah,
they're our Dave. What are our disposable heroes? Help me out here.
The runner-up. Yeah, honorable mentions.
All right, let me go ahead and name a couple. A Secret Place. Paranoid from the Hidden Treasures EP, Head Crusher, Never Dead, Bullet to the Brain, The Threat is Real, 1,000 Times Goodbye, Recipe for Hey Warhorse, In Game, Insomnia, yes, you heard that right, Insomnia, and Mechanics.
All right.
All right, go
now
for
that Dave's back, let me get my worst of list here. All right, starting off, this is the worst song in the entire catalog, The Mechanic. It is. Trust me.
It's not.
We got Breadline. We've got Elysian Fields. We have of Mice and Men. Good Morning, Black Friday. Crush 'em. Moto Psycho. High Speed Dirt. Have Cool Will Travel. Win from The World Needs a Hero, the 9-minute fucking piece of shit. Foreign Policy. And Into the Lungs of Hell.
We did have some of the same. You know, it's funny. I think we had more worst ofs like between the three of us than we did best ofs. Yeah. So, any final thoughts?
Look, I'm just like, I think we covered some of this as we've gone through. Well, I would rate this experiment as a pretty big success. I've enjoyed a lot of my time here. Look, I'm definitely going to have just a rotating number of songs that'll be in my overall playlist that I actually like. I've had Megadeth pop up a couple times now and like been going, and I'm like, oh, hey man, I like that song. So it's like it's been a little bit of exciting thing to go back and in peace or some stuff from So Far So Good. So
yeah,
I think it was a win.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Big success in my opinion, and the whole point of doing this is I remember my conversation with David was like, man, dude, like I don't like new music and I don't like these new bands that are out, and I need something new. I'm like so fucking tired of listening to the same old shit over and over and over again. And the whole point of giving Megadeth a shot was to let new music in that wasn't necessarily the bullshit that's being that's being made by the bands that are out nowadays that I just can't find myself getting into it. So I'm a little worried about Slayer, if I'm being honest with you guys, and even more so Anthrax. I know Anthrax is. Have you heard the vocals for Anthrax?
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. And I think the Megadeth is probably going to be the easiest of these three. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Yeah, I think so. Well, but I'm overall, like, echo what you guys said. I mean, I'm very happy that we went through this, and I'm very I feel like this is going to be an interesting kind of way to kind of find some new music, that because I'm like you, Adrian, like new albums don't really do too much for me these days anymore, like from new bands. But this has been very fun so far, so I'm happy.
Cool.
Well,
all right, I think we did it.
All right, so next week you'll catch us on the triple threat, the Halloween triple threat spectacular extravaganza.
Yep.
Where we will talk about the let's see, Josh, help me out. We'll talk about Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, we're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warrior. We're talking about Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. And we're doing the original Halloween. It's going to be a triple threat match to determine which one of those is the best Halloween movie of all time.
All right.
Why specifically these three? Are they like, is there a consensus about them, or?
We wanted to.
It's a horse from each one of us. So Dave was really into the. I'm really into the Friday the 13th Part 6, and Jason likes the third Nightmare on Elm Street. So
yeah,
we're just kind of each bringing our own horse to the party.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Interesting.
All right. Well,
cool.